All right, let's dive right in and trace the journey of a true titan. We're talking about a river that's not just a physical lifeline for, about 500 million people, but also a sacred icon for 1 billion more. We are following the mighty Ganga all the way from its icy birth high up in the Himalayas to its grand finale in the Bay of Bengal. So you have to wonder, right? A river this legendary, it must have an absolutely epic origin story. And to find it, we've got to travel way, way up into the peaks of the Uttarakhand Himalayas, into a world of rock, glaciers, and ice.
You see, the Ganga isn't born from a single source. It's actually born from a powerful union. It all starts with two parent streams. You've got the Bhagirathi, which emerges from the huge Gangotri Glacier, and then you have the Alaknanda, which kicks off its own journey from the Satopanth Glacier. It's only when these two mighty headwaters finally meet that the river we all know as the Ganga is truly born.
Now, to help lock in that origin story, here is a super quick way to remember those two streams that create the Ganga. Just think of the phrase, Bhai always grows. Bhai for Bhagirathi and always for Alaknanda, which then, grow into the Ganga. Simple.
Okay, so the river is born. Now its journey down from the mountains begins. But this isn't just a simple trickle down a slope. No, it's a series of 5 incredibly sacred meetings, which are known as the Panch Prayag, or the 5 holy confluences.
Take a look here and you'll notice something interesting. The Alaknanda is like the main artery in this whole process. As it carves its way down, it just keeps gathering strength, meeting 4 other rivers at 4 holy sites. Then, finally, at that 5th and final confluence, Devprayag, it has its grand union with the Bhagirathi. It's from this exact point forward that the river is officially called the Ganga.
Remembering the sequence of these 5 sacred spots? Yeah, it can be a little tricky. So here's a simple way to do it. Just think of the phrase, very naughty kids run daily. This little sentence gives you the first letter of each Prayag in order from upstream to downstream. Vishnu Prayag, Nanda Prayag, Karna Prayag, Rudra Prayag, and finally, Dev Prayag. After that really dramatic mountain descent, the Ganga's whole character changes. I mean, completely. It leaves all those steep gorges behind and emerges onto the vast, flat plains of India. And this is where it begins a much, much longer and wider journey. And when I say longer, I really mean it. Just look at this number, 2,525 kilometers. That's an absolutely immense distance. It makes it the longest river in India and a true continental waterway. So this epic journey takes it right across the heartland of India, flowing through 5 distinct states. It kicks off in the mountains of Uttarakhand, moves through the massive state of Uttar Pradesh, then winds into Bihar, briefly touches Jharkhand, and finally reaches West Bengal before it meets the sea.
And yep, you guessed it. Here's a quick way to remember that sequence of states. It's this simple initialism, UUBJW. That's for Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. Easy enough, right?
And along this path, it nurtures some of India's most ancient and populous cities. It officially enters the plains at Haridwar. Then, at Prayagraj, it has that famous confluence with its largest tributary, the Yamuna. It flows past the spiritual heart of Varanasi, picks up even more major rivers near Patna, and then finally at Farakka, it starts to split, forming the world's largest delta. What a journey!
Of course, no great river travels alone. The Ganga is fed by this vast family of tributaries, basically other rivers that join its course, adding their own water and their own power. So let's meet some of the most important members of this big river family.
Probably the easiest way to understand them is to split them into 2 groups. You've got the left bank tributaries. These are the ones that flow down from the Himalayas to the north and join the Ganga on its left side. And then you've got the right bank tributaries, which come up from the older peninsular plateau to the south.
So joining from the left bank are some real giants, all flowing down from the Himalayas. The most significant one is the Yamuna. That's a massive river system all on its own. The Ganga is also joined by the Gagra and the Gandak from Nepal. And then there's the infamous Kosi, which is known as the sorrow of Bihar because of its devastating and really unpredictable floods.
So how do you remember the sequence in which these key left bank rivers join the Ganga? Well, there's a popular mnemonic in Hindi. Yar, ghar, gaye, kal khane. Yar gives you Yamuna, Ghar for Ghaghara, Gaye for Gandak, and Khane for Kosi. Pretty clever.
Okay, now for the right bank. These rivers, they're generally a bit smaller, flowing from the south. The most significant one is the Son River. It's the longest of all the right bank tributaries. And you've also got smaller rivers like the Punpun and the Tons, which, interestingly, actually joins the Yamuna first.
And a really simple way to remember these right bank rivers is with the phrase, some people talk. S for son, P for pun, and T for tans. You know, these little phrases can make a really complex river system so much easier to get your head around.
So we've traced its epic journey. We've mapped its geography. But the modern story of the Ganga is one of a really profound paradox. It's a sacred lifeline for sure, but it's also a river that is facing some immense modern challenges.
I mean, its importance is honestly hard to overstate. The Ganga Basin irrigates one of the most fertile and densely populated regions on Earth, supporting millions of livelihoods. It serves as a transport artery, a source of power, and above all, it holds this unparalleled religious significance, central to the lives, beliefs, and rituals of hundreds of millions of people.
But this very importance has led to some incredibly severe threats. The river is choked with untreated sewage from cities and industrial waste from factories. Deforestation up in its Himalayan catchment area causes siltation and actually makes flooding worse. And of course, the relentless demand for its water for farming and industry means its flow is literally shrinking. In response to this crisis, the Indian government launched a massive flagship program back in 2014 called the Namami Gange program. It's this huge integrated mission with really ambitious and incredibly difficult goals of not just cleaning the river, but rejuvenating its entire ecosystem.
And it all comes down to this core truth, doesn't it? The Ganga is so much more than just a flow of water. It's both a river of faith and a river of life. Its cultural, its spiritual, and its economic identities are just completely intertwined, and that's what makes saving it both so critical and so very complex.
And that brings us to the final critical question. The Ganga has sustained entire civilizations for millennia, but with the immense pressures it's facing right now, can its future actually be secured for the generations to come? Well, that is the challenge that lies ahead.